So this is Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on 91.3, and you can be part of the conversation. That is via our social media platform, Power FM Zambia on Facebook. You can leave a comment and you can be part of the conversation, or you can catch us on Dstv channel 92 on Topstar. Now, the Oasis Forum, a coalition that includes the Council of Churches known as the CCZ, Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ, Law Association of Zambia, LAZ, NGO Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, and the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, which is known as ZCCB, has raised concerns about the government's push, that is, for the constitutional reform. So they criticize the process for proceeding without adequate citizen involvement, inclusivity, or broad consensus. So in opposition to what they describe as a narrow and election-driven approach by the UPND government, the Oasis Forum has since launched the Coalition Against Bill 7 to increase public awareness and advocate for a more open and participatory constitutional reform process. Now, through this campaign, the coalition hopes to convince the government to halt the current reform efforts and to withdraw the bill immediately. Joining us today, that is on Voice of the People, we do welcome Dr. Richard Silumbe, President of the Opposition Leadership Movement, who will share his views on the constitutional amendments and the upcoming by-elections, that is Lumezi constituency ward by-elections, illegal mining, and other significant issues facing the nation, as we are facing as a nation, and we need to discuss about. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Silumbe.
Well, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be on Power FM.
All right. Now, let's dive into leadership movement itself as a party. Maybe you can just highlight its vision and what it's all about.
Well, first of all, as leadership movement, we believe that a nation should be the driving force for all its natural resources, starting with land, our natural resources such as minerals and many other things. But what we are experiencing today is totally different. We have given up our natural resources to foreigners. We are seeing foreigners getting land with title deeds. We are seeing foreigners getting our copper, our manganese, our gold, our uranium, our cobalt, our lithium, everything. So the agenda for the leadership movement is to ensure that we, the Zambian people, take charge of our natural resources. This is why in our manifesto we have 4 pillars. The first pillar is we want land ownership to the Zambian people. We want Zambians to own land with title deeds. Number 2, we want to provide jobs to Zambian youths. In that sense, we want to take charge of our natural resources. We want to see ZNS mines. We don't want to see what is going on where every mine has been given up to foreigners. We, the Zambian people, can take charge of these things. We want ZNS state farms in every district to ensure that we don't continue languishing in poverty. We don't continue struggling and fighting for the little products, the maize products that are produced by our peasant farmers. We want the government to take charge of production of maize to ensure that our peasant farmers can now have freedom to sell their produce anywhere they want to sell, so that they can get more profit from their produce and grow bigger and better. Most of all, that is what we call empowerment. Then the third pillar is that we want our Zambian businesses to be supported. We don't want this thing that is continuing where we have tax breaks and tax holidays to foreigners. All foreigners who are coming in this country, they're getting tax holidays, tax breaks, whilst we are milking our Zambian businesses to the bitter end. So this is what we want to promote. We want to ensure that our local businesses are supported and they are given tax holidays so that they can grow bigger and better.
Well noted. And well, moving on to now the Oasis Forum, which is a coalition that has got the Council of Churches in Zambia. It's got the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia. It's got LAS as well. It's got NGOCC and even the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. And seeing as how this has come together with the concerns on the fact that government's approach to constitutional reforms doesn't quite sit right with a number of them, what exactly are your thoughts on this particular issue? Are you in agreement with them?
Well, we have been clear as leadership movement. We have been calling on the UPND government to stop the mess. We don't want this mess of our constitution to continue. Remember, these people, the UPND government, promised a lot of promises in 2021. After failing to deliver any promise that they spoke about, they are now very jittery. They have lost the legitimacy of being in power. Now what do? They start tinkering at the constitution. When you look at Bill 7, what they have promised to the Zambian people is totally different from what they want to achieve. In the Bill 7, the first contentious issue is the fact that they want to delimitate constituencies. Now, when you talk about delimitation, we are talking about increasing the number of MPs in our parliament by way of dividing one constituency into two. But when you look at the target constituencies where they want to do delimitation, these are their strongholds, starting from Kapirimposhi, which they want to split into three. They go on to Southern Province, they go on to Western Province, Northwestern Province, and whatever. So they are looking at provinces where they have a stronghold. This is their plan B. They want to continue to stay in power by way of increasing the number of constitutional MPs in parliament so that they can now continue manipulating the constitution of Zambia. There's another clause in Bill 7 that talks about repealing the article that only allows a president to appoint or nominate 8 MPs. They want that to be gone so that President Hakainde Hichilema can have limitless number of appointments in terms of MPs in parliament. Again, increasing the number of delimited constituencies plus the appointment of unlimited numbers makes this government a dictatorial government, because what will be in parliament will be MPs from their origin, their political party. We don't want the UPND to take advantage of the parliament and have unlimited number of MPs that will make them, even after 2026, if they lose, they can still go in parliament and enact laws and even remove 50+1, because it means that they have been allowed to be numerous in parliament, and the president will have the power to appoint more MPs, including 100 more MPs there, and move a motion that can actually make this country worse off. So we do not want the UPND government to destroy the governance of this country through Bill 7. That Bill 7 is full of bad things. These people, they argue to say, oh, we have some good things in Bill 7. Yes, they can be good things. But if there is one bad thing, we are calling it off, because they have something there that they want to use so that they can perpetuate their governance even after 2026. We do not want that. We want them to enact laws that are free from politics. The only time a government can change the constitution is when they have just won, because then they are not scared of anything. There are no ill intentions. We can give an example of what happened to our former president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, may his soul rest in peace. When he won in 2016, he signed a new constitution in action, because that time he had no agenda. He had just won as president, and many people supported the move to get into the new constitution, which was signed in by him, because there was nothing that he was hiding. These people are vulnerable. They are trying to maneuver through so that they can get an election in 2026. This is the same situation that happened to the former president when they were pushing Bill 10, because the content of Bill 10 is the same that we are having in Bill 7. So these are maneuvers to extend their staying power. Like that, they no longer appoint women to participate in elections. They have never appointed, or rather nominated, a young person to participate in elections, but they want Zambians to believe that the constitution amendment will help our women and our young people in parliament. This is just a cover-up to push other agendas.
Won't he do that, since they propose gender representation, inclusivity of youths as well? Don't you think it's going to cater for all those things that are being were not done earlier on?
We want the ruling party to show support for women now, not through the constitution. We want them to show goodwill. We want them to be appointing women to participate in elections, like leadership movement has been doing. We have actually nominated 3 women to participate in by-elections in the period of 4 years. But the UPND has never adopted any woman. They have never adopted young people. So this shows that they have no goodwill apart from semantics. That is just a cover-up so that people can move and say, oh, they are supporting women. In any case, their interest is to ensure that they increase the number of MPs up to 52 MPs, and that share of 52 MPs should come from their party. That would disadvantage other political parties. So we categorically, we actually do not support Bill 7. We categorically reject Bill 7, and we want the Zambian people to reject Bill 7, because this bill has been crafted without goodwill. It is all ill-intended. It is intended only to support the UPND.
Sorry to cut you off. So then, if you're saying that you have rejected Bill 7, and also along with the coalition, what alternative approaches do you think should be taken towards constitutional reforms? What are you placing on the table?
What we are suggesting is, after 2026, the period between 2026 and 2027 is the right time to look at the constitution and actually make reforms, because that is a free time. That is a time where politics are not the agenda. After 2 years down the line in governance, politics sets in. This is a very political time. So anything you do to the constitution will have a political touch. So we do not support changes to the constitution at this period of time. This is why all the political parties, they have suggested that any change, any discussion on the change of the constitution should come after 2026.
So are you saying it's both ways? There is a disagreement and a complete, I would say, refusal to, first of all, have any constitutional reforms, but also the constitutional reforms that are being presented. Is it a disagreement or refusal to both of them?
Yes, we do refuse. We do not support changes to the constitution at this time, because the content has been tailored or tempered with political agenda. So we do not want it. Bill 7 must be rejected until after 2026. Then stakeholders can now look at what can be best for Zambia without politics involved.
Mr. Silumbe, most of the previous regimes would beg to differ to say that they also might have amended the constitution a year before the elections. So how different is it for them for that the current UPND government is doing the same?
They might have amended the constitution a year before an election when that amendment is neutral, it has no politics, we do not have any problem. The Bill 7 content is highly political, it's politically charged, and it can never be supported to be enacted this time, because the intention is to strengthen the stay in power by the ruling party.
Okay, let's start to the high cost of living. We are seeing a war which is emanating between Israel and Iran, and of course there were some threats of them shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, which accounts for a huge percentage of oil flow to the rest of the world. So the current conflicts between Israel and Iran, what strategies should Zambia adopt to safeguard its economy and protect households? Because they have said that that might incorporate a lot of countries not making losses, especially when it comes to crude oil, which is being supplied through that Strait of Hormuz, coming through all the way from Iran. And as a nation, as Zambia, we are affected in that way. So what would you suggest?
Well, definitely every country may be affected by transactions that may have already been made in purchases for oil, and the closure of that straits would actually affect many, but there are a lot of alternatives. This is why we say we as Zambians need to trade with our friends. We have oil in Nigeria, we have oil in Angola, we have oil in Russia, we have oil in many countries that are not even close, that are not part of the conflict. And we as Zambians, we are non-aligned. So we expect ourselves to look at the interests of the Zambian people. There is always an alternative. We cannot say that because that strait has been closed and then we should sit around and start crying over it. There are so many alternatives. China has got so many oil processing industries there. China is almost like a producer of oil, and it also exports. So there is even no need for this government to make that as an excuse to the looming high prices of fuel. So that can never be an excuse, because there are so many alternatives. We just expect government and all these other stakeholders in the purchase of oil to reroute and choose other suppliers of oil or fuel. So there is really an alternative at the moment. That issue is not going to prolong for a long time. As we are seeing now, the fire is now getting, the heat is trying to reduce in terms of the tensions. We are seeing many stakeholders calling for ceasefire and all that. So we shouldn't take this as an excuse for fuel prices. So we see as leadership movement that we still have a window of peace and things are stabilizing in the Middle East.
This is Voice of the People, where you are given a chance to speak up, have your voice heard, be part of this conversation. Call us up on 0955 997 997 or even on 0979 192 485. And now shifting gears a bit, and that's looking at the upcoming by-elections in Lumezi constituency. How is the campaign atmosphere shaping up ahead as we gear up for that election?
Well, the campaigns are going well. Political parties are campaigning. For now, we have not heard any violence. There is peace going on, so we cannot complain as a leadership movement, and we are seeing that the campaigns are just okay. People are reaching out, and there is no hindrance to campaigns at the moment. So everything is going on well, except for the fact that we are worried that usually the ruling party takes advantage of places that are in far-flung areas where it is difficult to reach out and so on and so forth. But by and large, the elections are going fine.
What distinguishes your candidate and party from the other contestants? What stronghold do they have in Lumezi?
Well, first of all, as a leadership movement, we have a different agenda altogether from these political parties. So our agenda as leadership movement is to have the Zambian people on their products. Look at Lumezi. Lumezi has got God, and people have not been allowed to exploit their God. So these are the problems that we are facing in this country. We have God in Mufumbwe, yet Zambians have been, they've been expelled from areas where there is God. We have God in Kasenseri district, yet we have put the police and the ZNS to guard that place, waiting for a foreign investor to take advantage of that. So these are the problems that we are having. We as leadership movement are calling on the Zambian people to take charge and take advantage of the mineral resources that we have. Tulefwa abena Zambia bakwate molubali mumukuba wesu pamonga abena Zambia pantu ndata tukwete molubali ichika chitika chakwe bati abena Zambia tukasharafe tulechula nishikopa ilea manganezi ilea fyonse filea tuwali mwene fe alechika papepeni pa nshite apwile last week pa fitunshi ubuteko na Ministry of Mines, they were all over showing ati abantu bafwa 8 katushinga bali 6 ababafuire kumufumbwe pantu imigodo shobale bombera mushadirika nomba abantu 6 bafwa finshi vya chitike kutuma bakapokola nokutamfya abantu bakwe bati baleke okwimba God ile bapero obwikashi baleke okwimba pantu kwafu abantu abali 6 nomba fwe bena Zambia tufire tulemona nokumono kwe bati ubuteko obu wabula bamwisa bababika pantanchi lero abena Zambia bababika panuma pantu ilio tule chitefintu. We expected as leadership movement ukutuma kwa abantu abayishi bawo mining is done bakanye no kubasambirisha abantu ifya kuchinga umushiri ilio baleimba umukuba wabo pantu ababantu ebwikashi bwabo ilio tule mona lyonse muma road between Lusaka and Ndola. Just yesterday abantu 4 balifwa, the other day abantu 10 balifwa kuma accident, the other day kwali abantu 6 abafwire, the other day kwali abantu 12 abafwire muma road ine from Lusaka to Ndola. Nomba dyonse every day kulefu abantu 5, kulefu abantu 10, kulefu abantu 12 kuma accident. The other time bus yapunka truck abantu 70 bafwa ishatala umfapo Minister of Transport aisa pafitunshi no kweba bena Zambia okwati abantu bafwa sana muri road iseni twisale mwe bena Zambia iseni tufunyemu amatraki mu road abantu bafwa sana nomba chinshi twala imina every time ilio twamona abantu bafwa ku pantu bale imbomu kuba icharo chonse chaimati sale ni umukuba lekeni ukwimba nisho abantu fya bafwako ama deze apitireko takwali umuntu wafwire ifita fire fwaikwa fwe bena Zambia tufure tule support abena Zambia okwimba omukuba ilio kwa chitika accident tufure tuwatuma kwa abantu abakubasambiri shefi ya kwimba omukuba pako bati bayishi bokwati ifi tabachita lero bakonkanyapo no bwikashi bwabo empowerment twefo kuleta pamonga ba leadership movement tatufire tulelekera ba muisa beka ebale kwata molu bali kumukuba wesu ifi tafyaka twafuirishe pamonga bena Zambia. We are urging the Minister of Mines not to be closing mines. He should be sending experts there to train the people to take charge of their own mineral resources, not closing and looking for foreigners to come and take over our mines. So this is unacceptable. The same way we don't see the Minister of Transport closing roads or removing trucks despite everyday people dying. Why should the lives of people in the mines be more precious than the lives that are that are dying, the lives that we are losing every day on the roads when everyone is quiet and people are still using the roads. So we don't want this kind of colonial mindset that only allows people to think that when foreigners are doing mining, that is the only thing that is accepted. When Zambians put in their efforts, it is bad, and we want to hide behind accidents to close them. This is unacceptable. Leadership movement wants to support Zambians. We need to own our mines. We need to own our natural resources. That's why tulelandira pamonga ba leadership movement kwebati ifwero twaisa mumaka tulefwa icha number 1 twakwata ma ZNS mines. To allow the produce.
You did mention that a little bit earlier, but just to take you back, when asking how the elections are going, you did say that the UPND does take advantage of far-flung out places, whereby it's a little bit hard to reach. In what ways do they do so?
Right now, as we speak, the UPND government, they are cooking shima, feeding everyone, because they want to lure the Zambian people to think that it's a caring government. Everywhere they are cooking and they are feeding people. That is an election malpractice. So these are the things we are talking about, taking advantage. But having done that, having said that, we are not saying that we have a problem campaigning as opposition. We are able to campaign, but we are seeing the government using the government machinery and taking advantage of the poor people, because they are very poor. There is a lot of hunger in Lumezi, and people have got little or no livelihood. So these are the things that the ECZ should be looking at, because malpractices in elections include many things, giving gifts at an election time that constitute malpractices, and these are the things that the UPND government are doing at the moment.
Noted.
This is Voice of the People. You can be part of the conversation. The phone lines are open. The number is 0979192485 or 0955997997. You can also catch us live on Power FM. That is on our Facebook page, as we are joined in the studio today on Voice of the People by Dr. Richard Silumbe, who is the president of the Opposition Leadership Movement, as we talk about the constitutional amendments and other situations. Hello, you are through to the Power Breakfast. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone there.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Mr. Malema calling from Lusaka Garden House.
All right, go ahead with your contribution, Mr. Malema.
For me, let me use Bemba because I'm used with Bemba. Yeah, I found them on abantu abanamishwa ichi ubuteko butukwete mwandi kwande chinka the part of okuletu afuilisha and nana timbone na batimwa sana corruption ilipantanshe sana ofo warchalanda ba kanalesa okufishinga na bakola and namatimone isine lyashira kumaini lyo lyatike that is quite okay to ari unfwa, which is very bad. Pateti bafunya abantu kuri atiyoreke n'ukubomberako rero nabesho batwe na Zambia tatkwetensito. For now we are suffering because of we lack of job. So ya to tangire ya kuntu asanga ku something nombe ine bambe kutukanya tiyo lekeni ero bapere bamuisa futi bamuisa bate benefiting bafisha byose filabaresta bakatubutuka bakatushaparo parwero pabule chirichonsi nijipeto ambo kuchudira ko futi. So for Ningalanda, as a Zambiani, trying to reach a Tonsi. Tonsi, we are behind the Tonsi, please. Everyone, every Zambian, Kurumezuko, the church Kunache, Suchava, Tonsi. Now, Mr. Marema, thank you very much from Garden House.
Thank you very much for coming to You can come through and you can also be part of the conversation. The number is 0979-192-485 or 0955-997-997. This is Voice of the People. The phone lines are open. You can come through with your contribution. Hello, it's our breakfast. Good morning.
Mbaga Bwanji.
Tauka bwino mauka bwanji naimwe.
No, Bwino. Bagesi watu muli mu studio Mauka Bwanji.
Bwino muli bwanji.
No, bagesi watu naise takwa Bwino. Zinanga ngide Fraser nitumira kwa mesi shai. Bagesi watu mupitirize kutambira sema Zambianzi andilima konkani maningi. Especially pali ma natural resources. Muma kamba Bwino maningi. My best question or my serious question is that Ushe 2026 mukawina ama umukondo kamoti amanake resources hizi nyasi Zambians muzakati pasa sema Zambians si muzaka chinja or bwana because mama leaders kambiri muma kama ma sweet word but mukaka baja vampando pali sweet maningi muma kibala se bantu bane mukamba mawe ya mushe maningi and Zambia ingache prosper utizo wote ndi pamwaba because one kifuti katsoro Zambia outside mukona ma plans Wanji ya malaiti because malaiti mno Zambia is a disaster whereby kuna kamisi filia kama watisula no malaiti day ushe muzangana ma plans Wanji kuti issue yamo kama ti manzi ya siya issue so because my president bambili watokapo sana kama manzi ya siya tinga blackout muzaka makuona in concluding issue ya okay Senzani let's come I've forgotten Senzani.
Okay, let's go. Go ahead and maybe you can quickly answer him.
Sawama zikomo bakola bakumisisi nifuno chitaansa nzambiri hapo imwe issue ya malaiti tinakambapo kudala pamo ngaba leadership movement twalila ndo kwebati ilio ububuteko bwaleisa mu power wali bepera bena Zambia ta wali kwata solution ya malaiti kanshi solution bakwete yali yabufi bale tondonganya tinga baisa mu power bakaleta ama solar panels ichalo chikakwate na malaiti ifwe pamonga ba leadership movement mu 2021 ili omwale votera ba UPN twalese kafe pan twalishibe kwa tabakwete filifyonse solar bapangire nchushi kuchaine ero bale panga ama solar panels balishimo kwebati ayama solar panel teti ya running imigodi teti ya running ene industry ubushikunga kwa fitafe ni solar kwa bafe zero no production for almost 12 hours nomba a solution twale umfabela ndatawe ku Dubai there are no rivers but there is power ku Dubai konse kula kwa ba thermal power plants nama nuclear power plants bale kula nowadays konse ku China oko bale panga masola bale kula ama nuclear power plants. China is run by nuclear power plants. Europe yonse ikweta ama nuclear power plants. Ilo tuwale landa pali nuclear power plant abantu baleseka tuwale mfaba UPN balanda awe fiali ba dangerous tuwaseka fiati kwenda ngata mukwete ntungulushi ofo muisanga ni muli fifine tulimo ama light kuti tuwa solving affairs na nuclear power plants. Firafine ku Georgia 3 months ago bale isura another nuclear power plant ku America. Ba leadership movement to believe muli nuclear power production to ikwata uranium pali inoshta to uranium ile fuma kusolwezi lero to alipela ba mwisa ba America baresenda uranium to alikwata boron mukabom yonse to alipela ba mwisa boron to wonfya to excite enriched uranium for a nuclear reaction. So fyonse vitu alikwata muno mwine mu Zambia no mbere twalela nda since 2021 abena Zambia tabale umfa no mbapali inonsta na tukwate shuko pantu twasonto mwa icho Ibrahim Traore ofu alechita uwa ishirefe ku Burkina Faso in 2 years na nase ndo mukuba wakwe God bamba nokusa produce bamba nokupanga endalama balekula na gold processing industry muli amwine mu Burkina Faso muli 2 years nalipira n'endalama shonse nkongolosho bakwete muli 2 years nakula n'emisebo Burkina Faso yonse muli 2 years nabamba nokupanga emyotoka muli 2 years nabakula na nuclear power plant nombanga tuwaisa muna nuclear power plant ba Burkina Faso ebakala se supply light yonse West Africa yonse ikala senda light ku Burkina Faso, which means bakala pange ndalama nuclear power plant fei nono akanono fika nuclear power plant will produce about 15,000 megawatts no mbanga mwakonka Kariba North Bank maximum yali 1,200 lero ta ibomba padi 600 megawatts Kafue Gorge yale sa produce 900 nomba yali bwerera pali 400 megawatts tonso tutima megawatts nga tuchisa combine titwabomfya fe 3,000 megawatts muno mu Zambia number from a nuclear power plant which is producing 15,000 twabomfya 3,000 years we can supply power to the whole Southern Africa nama dollars yambo kuisa Zambia ema solution tulanda ponoti ama solution aya chabe bantu abante ba engineer tabeshi befiri fyonse bale mnakwati ama solar yakesa leta ama light mchalo tufile tuambo kumfa kuli ba engineer fweba ishiba if yakuchita produce ifintu power production can only be sorted out by nuclear power.
You can hold that thought. Hello, you're through to the Power Breakfast. Good morning.
Hello,
good morning. You're through to the Power Breakfast.
Yeah, it's Auka Mwakapanje.
Tauka Bueno. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Tumutunirani mamene muno mu Lusaka mu capital city mukamba na bashimagi.
Okay, go ahead.
Ningera voice monga Silumbe.
Nibamene. Dr. Richard Silumbe, yes.
Timambera ku radio yonse voice sisoba uzati uyo Silumbe olelanda. Yeah, nomba eto ningalanda chimo takutira ti. Yes. The minerals belong to Zambian, and the Zambian must use it. We cannot live in poverty, and when we are sitting on gold, manganese, and right now recovered from Wapura, which is cost 2 trucks only, millions of kwacha, we cannot kneel to the I am my friend. We have got a lot of minerals, but we don't know how to use it. Now, the point of what happened to Northwestern, those people died. These want to dig gold and so should get a license. That's why we say illegal is about something. You go and dig something, don't have good papers. So that is why they say illegal. But soon I hear him say, no, I'm going to engage national service, defense forces to work with all people, those who are jobless. So, is it a point what you are saying that even Kasensari gold mine, I send ZNS to employ the people who have never been to school, who doesn't know B, but they have got production. So, is it, I've already heard him when he goes to the radio talking about, is it your intention? I thank you, mate.
Definitely. That is what we are speaking about. Kulefwa abena Zambia bonse bakwate shuko ili aku kwatamo ulubali mumukuba wesu. We want to engage ZNS in massive recruitment. Everyone, whether educated or not educated, you can participate in production. That is what we talk about. So
you have to hold that thought as we can pick up another caller. Hello.
Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Who are we speaking to?
This is Brian, known as Venevake from Chiranga.
Okay, go ahead with the contribution.
President Mauka Bwanji.
Bwino mli Bwanji.
Awe mukamba bwino president. Manje pamesi za kuizana na imwe nukamba kuti so far you don't government kubevene achita. Tizinkara sinsia so that pamene muzabwera alsogole. Pamene bakangiwa banzano mwapitiriza manje mukakambati vose kubeve bachite banana mama Zambia nchani tina free education yamene ioneka pa ufunika mwa mentioning kuti at least free education ioneka chito bantu banangena and the peace iliko muchita confess hapo
kamba kuti even kuma election kwamene muliri kuli peace. I think ndive tenzolirira hivi ndive ndivenzotivota. So ngati muzano asebenza as a leader you should appreciate muzano pamene asebenza so that when you come you just fulfill kuja pamene kwavuta. I think ndiye mwamene maganizira ine leader mwamene afunika onkalia. Then two inkani ya malaiti kuti sikambe kuti bwanji. Mimi niona kuti ni capacity che yamene ichepa. Because so chame chifunika che government yafakira konzero kuti capacity ya park. Then is challenges asira. Because that mwezo pika nsima abantu bali pa hivi pa nyumba. Then ndo wapangana 15. Simunga using same nani kana. I think ndiye ma challenges yamene aliko. But so far we appreciate the new Don government because of peace. So I wish you the best as you pamene mutukura chani chipani chanu hicho. You should appreciate wazantu pamene waseleza. I think that is a good leader mwamene afuni ongalira. Zikomo komiti verera.
Okay.
Zikomo.
Okay, what's your take? He did highlight that we need to acknowledge that the new Dawn government did bring in peace and free education. And, of course, the previous caller was talking about illegal mining. We did see in Chingola, the Senseli mine was opened due to certain youths who said that they were going to riot if it wasn't open. So it is now open to the public to mine the minerals out of it. So what's your take on that?
Kanshi ifo pamonga ba leadership movement lyonse tulalando kwebati tetimukanye abena Zambia ukuitumpa mukuba tufuire tuasuminisha abena Zambia ukuimba god yabo tufuire tuasuminisha abena Zambia ukuimba kopa kulya kupiti kuchingola twalitwele bakapokolo kukanya bonse atawe tabafuire bale itumpa mukuba wabo pantu fetule fire foreign investor wale ingira mupiti mulya ati pantu okweta ma machine nomba mwebe na Zambia mufire mule idilira ko bulanda pantu ilio tule kwata abana bakesa isa mcharo 50 years 100 years from now bakesa sango kuba tikopa yalipwa kwa sharafe filongoma bakesa sango kuba ati gold yalipwa mcharo chesu mwa sharafe filongoma uranium manganese fyonse fyalipwa abana bakukula bakesa episho kwebati bushe ifi fyonse fo twakwete ifya pwanomba mcharo chesu nifi nshofo twachiremo benefit abakabaku bakesa ndatawe abalemba ni bamwisa ifo taparo fo twalechita ni isa building yo mwakulire ala ndiro kubati kuchingola kwali kopa ne mpia twabo mfeshesha kopa ni fyo twasangiremo ngafira abanesi tumona ku Dubai mwamona tichalo chali kwata oil mwamona fe Burj Khalifa Burj Dubai mwamona chikwali ba oil mwaya kunani ku Saudi Arabia mwamona fe ama building mwamona chikwali ba oil nomba ifwe finshi tukashowing abana besu abakesa fyalwa in 100 years time tapali bakesa ifshat finshi twachita inherit twako ninkongole shalifika nomba na 50 billion abana kukula bakesa alila sana noku casing emanda shesu kubati kwena ababantu baikele muli inkulo fyali finangwa tafipusene.
So then what is your take on the fact that now Senseli gold mine has been reopened or
That is where I'm going. That is where I'm going. Bakalando kwata tupusene na balabene abale akubusha mulebe okusha mu 1500 basanga abantu mu Africa ifima paka 200 akamusungu kamwaka onda kafilopola nokufika kama cheni nokufisenda ku America mukubomba for the rest of their lives ne nkulo ine tatupusene ilo tulesumirisha bamwisa bena bale chita enjoy bale sendo mukuba wesu ifo tulekanya abantu besu tulelanda tawe tabeshibe tabakwete capacity nero na tumoro kwati nabakwata capacity tibayimba na mapiki na mashaveo bakwata monolubali mumukuba wesu lero tulebakanya so filefi achitike kuchingola tika Senseli mine fidia tule umfwe ama views ya pusana nale umfa kumbia tawe ba minister na bakanya tababasuminishe imwe pano mulelanda na basuminisha lero tatuishibe no mbocho tulelanda chakwe bati suminisheni abe na Zambia suminisheni abe kala chalo kuitumpa mumukuba ilo kwa accident nangula kola kwene kumapiti kuchingola tumeni kwa abantu abayishiba ifya kuchita secure safety mwabasambirisha muli 1 week bakonkanyapo nokuyimbira firafine tutuma abantu mu agriculture madako bale pitana bale sambirisha abantu ifya kulima amataba ili inshita ya kubyala nefya shala ofo na ku mining tufire tulechita notiro twamfafya akantu kuya mukwisala mine twatuma ko bakapokola ukutuamba nokuipsha tuba foreign investor nibesa bese basende. That's why twale mwena nga mulebusha twale muna ali ama wedding yaba mwisa bale angasha fene ndalama bali wina mchalo chesu ifwe bena Zambia tuletota ture muna bamwisa bale wina lero abantu besu ture banyanta pamitwe ture bakanyo okwimbe umukuba nomba nishi turi bantu bashani nishi buteko bwashani tuvotera mu maka fwe na Zambia tuambi okwisula amenso nokumono ko batiro ture weekend tungulushi mumaka ni ntungulushi ishakwata ishatubika pantashi noti ntungusha kwa shali ya mukukongole ndalama so pali inoshita bale ya mukongole ndalama ishafitenge nokushtisha mamaini inenga na isa mumaka mukasenda KCM mukasenda mopani mukasenda gold mukasenda manganese baba perefi ndalama imofo muleisa mukumona fitenge 20 million nama t-shirt 20 million nama 100 kwacha ponse kwisa munafi atawo lyapuma ni ababene entungushi twakwata ilo bayingira mumaka bakwete nkongole nokupera fyonso fo mwifwire mule chita enjoy mwe na Zambia bambo kupera bamwisa. That's why this time fwe na Zambia tufetu ambo kuchenchente ntungulushi nokumono kwebati ilo bale kupera t-shirt ne chitenge ufire waipusho kwebati ushefye fikasungira abana i-t-shirt ne chitenge chikakusungira abana ufire wa make sure ati ntungulushio na ibula bena Zambia na ibabika pantashi
we do have another caller
if ya chabe
Dr. Silumbe. Hello, good morning, you're through to the Power Breakfast Show.
Neli Bwino Mulibwanji madam.
Bwino Bwanji, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Nitumira kubaole ni nikutiji uko.
Yes, you can go ahead. What's your comment?
Okay, no, in a comment yanga ni pali yamene nyudoni wamene watusungira promises yao so far chewana senza kwa mshuwa inenikangana ni 10%. Wanzoenda na mapamera kumatani kuma kampeni tu masala ditowan kwacha but weve wanzo kamba wazavishiriza but sivisira na manje tiembekeza so hivyo veve stiko ndwera otherwise kusebenza wakalipo ambo sebenza.
Okay, thank you so much, and we are running out of time, but just within, I would say, the next 2 minutes, what message do you have for those listeners?
Tulefwaya abena Zambia bambi okumona nokuchenchente ntungulushi noku making sure at 2026 tuabika ntungulushi ishikwete solution not ntungulushi shakwebati shabula bamwisa shababika pantanshi bamwisa bale senda fyonse fo twakwata mchalo chesu ifo tuleshala pofe tulechula kanshi pamonga ba leadership movement tulefu abena Zambia tuamono kwebati fwebene twala ibombera tufe twala kwata ma ZNS state farms mose ma districts pako bati twala tsa produce tatufire twabika ntungulushi shina mwerepete intungulushi shabunangani tufire twakwata intungulushi isha itumpa muri production ifi efintu tulefwaya ukumona pamonga ba leadership movement.
This has been Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on Power 91.3, and we are also live on Dstv channel 92, that is on Topstar. We were joined in the studio by Leadership Movement President, that is Dr. Richard Silumbe, and you can also go through to our socials. On Facebook, it is Power FM Zambia. This is the Power Breakfast, continues on the other side.
Wake up, Zambia.
Good morning. Good morning.
A brand new morning experience is coming your way. Introducing the Power Breakfast, where the queens of breakfast serve up the hottest conversations, freshest hits, and everything you need to start your day right. Catch the Queens of Breakfast every weekday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Power FM and Dstv. And no, this isn't an April Fool's joke. It all begins April 1st. Power up your mornings with the Power Breakfast.
Power Breakfast.